the borough of Queens. Scores of people, most of them wearing surgical masks, lined up Thursday to be tested at a tent outside. 13 coronavirus patients died at Elmhurst within a 24-hour period.
So we just heard Dr. Hebert talk about it. Nearly 24 states under stay-at-home orders. That's 200 million people.
That's right. And joining us now to talk from the legal side of this thing is Dr. Jeremy Levitt, professor of international law at Florida A&M University. He is in Orlando. Welcome, Doc.
Good evening to the two of you.
Thank you.
What's the primary purpose of a stay-at-home policy?
Well, governments, local, state, and federal want to control the population to try and minimize contact. And so it's their way of claiming executive power to use the apparatus of the state, largely the police, to control the population and movements of the population. And this is important because as we've seen even here on beaches, we're in the middle of a pandemic and people here in Florida are on the beaches during spring break. So it gives the police more authority to not just surveil, but to stop. It gives them probable cause to stop people who are out and to ask them why they're out, to see if they meet any of the criteria and exceptions for being out during the shelter-in-place period. So it's really a good thing, and we probably started it 6 weeks too late.
Let me ask you this, Professor. How does what we are doing here in the States differ from other nations, such as Italy, Spain, or China? And is it better or worse?
Well, I think we've taken longer, unfortunately, than many countries, and we're a huge country, and this is why you're seeing a huge spike every 2 days in the number of infections and in the numbers of deaths, unfortunately. And so we're not even at the beginning of this. The notion that we could be over this by April 14th or sometime in mid-April is just not realistic. Sweden is doing something different. They're practicing what's called herd immunity. They're actually allowing their population, particularly younger people, to be out, hoping that immunity is built through a large number of infections. It doesn't seem to make much sense, but it's been used to challenge and confront pandemics in the past. Other countries like Spain and Italy are on complete lockdown. Spain has the fastest growing number of infections. I think we may have curtailed Spain today. And part of it is they weren't taking it serious. They had International Women's Day on March 14th, and they had hundreds of thousands of people on the street, not unlike what we've just done in New Orleans during Mardi Gras. And now we're seeing a spike in New Orleans. One of the factors that I think is important to mention here, the scientists have not confirmed that this is an airborne virus. And I think the data and the evidence that I'm seeing demonstrates that it actually is. And so we need to be extremely cautious about social distancing because this virus appears to be airborne.
What about the effect on African Americans? How may they be adversely affected?
Well, that's an important question because our communities are already substantially policed. That means there will be more police out. They will have probable cause to stop people who might be in violation of the curfew or who they suspect. We don't have drive-up testing facilities in any major African-American community in the country, to my knowledge. We have to cross the train tracks, if you will, to get healthy groceries. We can't use community transportation because some of that is stopping and your risk increases. So between that and then of course not having hospital facilities that are similar to other communities, we're at an enormous disadvantage both for exposure and with negative experiences with law enforcement. So we're hoping that law enforcement are flexible and understanding.
All right, Professor Jeremy Levitt at FAMU in Orlando, always a little smarter when you come join us, so we'll be speaking with you soon.